Hey everyone, Lori here with Balance Biomechanics, helping save the world from injury and pain. In this video, I'm going to talk to you all about using a physio ball as your chair at work. To ball or not to ball? That is the question. So whether or not you can sit on a ball does depend on your workplace. It depends on your culture at work, how big your office is. I know a lot of companies that are pretty big are a little bit against using a ball as your chair. This has to do with a couple things. It has to do with their safety culture and just the safety of sitting on something that's creating motion and bounce. It has to do with the level of adulting that you can handle at work. Some people just can't sit on it and use it as a chair. And thus, it's a little bit of a slippery slope as to what you're gonna allow with the ball and not allow with the ball. So if you're in a smaller office, it's usually the case that you have the freedom to choose if you wanna sit on the ball. So here's what I'll advise you on. If you are going to choose a physio ball to sit on at your desk, you wanna buy an appropriate size. You want it to be big enough to where when you're sitting on it, your knees and your hips are at 90-degree angles. You don't want your knees up in your chest. You're going to be lower than the desk anyway, and it's not going to make sense. So unfortunately, some of you who might be a little height challenged might not be great for using just the ball as your chair. Now, they do have those balls that fit within the wheel structure. I think those are fine. They do create a little bit of motion. The problem that I've seen with those is that people tend to they don't keep an eye on the pressure of the ball, so sometimes they get a little deflated and flat, and honestly, it's really uncomfortable to sit on it. It kind of feels like everything's sagging down there in the pelvic floor and all those sorts of things. You don't want sagging. Okay? You want your abdominals to work and function as you're sitting on these physio balls. That's why people like them in the first place. So when they're on the wheels, you can't necessarily get the motion of the hips that is truly beneficial for all your core muscles and your balancing going on. So along with size and style, I want to also go into material. You want to make sure that it is puncture resistant and really thick material, because depending on the housekeeping around in your office area, or if you home office, you do not want to roll all of a sudden onto a sharp object and have it explode. You don't want it to pop. So puncture resistant is going to mean that the air is going to let out slowly, and then we hopefully have a graceful way off the ball rather than other concepts, which is probably why those big offices aren't really hot on using a physio ball at the desk. The other style of physio ball that's an option is something called a ballast ball by Bosu. It has a pocket of sand in one area of the ball, so it's kind of like those old school punching clown bags that tip over and then come back up again. It has a level of stability to it because that sand is down at the bottom. So that's an option as well if you need a little bit more stability and less risk involved. So once you've figured out the type and the style and the size that you like, and you've gotten your ball, you want to inflate it. Just know that the first time that you inflate it, it's going to be really stiff, and then a week or two later you want to go and inflate it again, because then it's going to get more flexible and be more at the appropriate size. So once you inflate it, you don't want to sit on it all day your first day. You need to break into it, just like working out in anything else. You want to give it little bits of time. I would suggest 15 minutes 3 times for the first work day, or 30 minutes one time, okay? Keep it around, keep your other chair handy. Do not go and burn your other chair, because you're gonna need to break yourself into this. And it's really not to be used all day, every day. Your muscles will get fatigued on that one. Yes, it gives you feedback of proper posture, and that when you slouch on a ball and then you add bounce to it, it's not going to feel the greatest on your posture. So it's going to give you that feedback to sit upright, but I don't want you using it all day, every day. That's not what they were meant for. They have lots of great workouts and exercises and core strength, a million uses of the physio ball, why it was invented in the first place, that you can find plenty of videos on. But as a chair, it's an option and not to be used all the time. If you have any other questions on using a physio ball as a chair, please leave a comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'd love to hear any feedback on what you think about using a physio ball as a chair at work. Hey everyone, Lori here with Balance Biomechanics, helping save the world from injury and pain. In this video, I'm going to talk to you all about using a physio ball as your chair at work. To ball or not to ball? That is the question. So whether or not you can sit on a ball does depend on your workplace. It depends on your culture.